Hi, this is Kelly at BorsheimArts.com. I'm working on my sculpture of marble, Helping Hands, and right now I'm developing this line that's here. I'm trying to get the details into the hand, so I don't show this so much on Facebook or Instagram now because it seems to other people that I haven't done anything, but I'm working on the details. So right now it's this line of the thumb to the graceful part of the hand, and the forearm in this. So I'm looking at this line, and I've been working on the male hands for a bit, trying to get some feel there. I want to get a feel of this pushing into soft flesh. I'm not sure if I have the ability to do that on a small scale with the tools that I have, but I'm going to try. So I've been looking at the hand from the other angles, and you can see down in here. So I'm trying to make it... I originally wanted her hand to just touch his face, but now I realize that it's too long and I've got too much distance there, and the cut is actually going to be quite nice, I think. So I'm going to develop this in here, which means a lot of tiny, tiny work, but you can imagine every day it's not something somebody goes, ooh, wow, big change. But also, you can't really see so much in here. But this is one of the things I like to do, is I like to put the undercuts. You see how the light is traveling down in here where the pencil goes? But I also want to, I'm kind of curious, how much detail can I get up in there? Now, there is a part of me that feels, good grief, I need to remember that I have to polish this thing when I'm done. And there's another part of me that says, I don't have to do anything. If I want to, I could leave it raw like this if I have the shape that I like. The shape is also more important. But I am curious, there's the hand here resting on his forearm. Can I actually put a separation between his forearm and the hand? I'm not sure if I can do that at this point. I'm not sure how important it is. There's a lot of stuff such as his hands. Excuse me, this is probably an awkward way to do a video, but his hand goes underneath her arm, obviously, to be picking her up. So, do I need to put all the fingers underneath? No. I just need to give you the idea of what is going on. It's the motion, it's the overall general picture of him helping her stand up. And I hope that's what I end up portraying, but if not, we'll see what happens. So, and I have a lot of work on the faces to do yet as well. I look at, you see the different angles. I'm looking at the angles of both of their faces, and I will work on this individually, but again, this is the part that people often wonder why I don't get sculpture done very fast, and it's because I think more than I cut, and I want to get certain kinds of details in there that, to me, make the piece worth doing. Because, as I said in earlier videos, I originally wanted to have a very abstract, simplified shape in this marble, but I realize now that I can't do that, because I find I'm fascinating by what I can actually pull off. See here in her breasts, she's got a scrunched up little body here, chunky body, and I want to keep that idea, but I do want to get more than what I've developed here. I want to pull her neck back to give her more of an indent into the neck and chest. So again, it's going to take me some time to do what I want, but I think it's going to be worthwhile to do. Will anyone ever buy a piece like this? I don't know, because I will have a lot of work into it. But that's really a secondary condition of me for my work. I really want to make the work that I want to make. I hope you're enjoying this, and put feedback in the comment section if you will, please. Thank you very much. Ciao for now. Ciao, ciao. One of the struggles of direct carving is that sometimes things come out where the measurements aren't quite the same, I guess. We all have different parts on each half of our body. We're not exactly symmetrical. However, you can see here that the fingers tend to have a little bit of a fat look. Part of that's because I haven't really developed them yet. I've carved on this hand a lot more, and you can see I started making, I didn't want exactly equal fingers, and so I started to separate them a little bit, make something more artistic. But in the end, it came out with fingers that look a little bit thin. Do you see that? Thin compared to her face, for example, because you compare, although maybe they're not too thin for her face, actually. But in comparison with this hand, I may like the form of this a lot, but I'm going to slender it down. And so I've been using this as a Dremel tool. You can see the double cut carbide tip blade here. I don't know if it's focusing. Hi, this is Kelly Borsheim again at Borsheimarts.com. I want to talk about these hands. I decided, because I had cut already a lot here, I want to make these fingers believable. maybe overlap one or the other so that they don't look like they're pencils. And once I get the proportions on this, then it's going to be easier for me to match this hand to that one. And you can see the thickness of the finger here compared to the tool, and take it over to the face. It's really not so bad on the thickness of it, but the thing is I've got a rather voluptuous figure here, which I don't do so often, but I did it in this case and I like it. But I want to make sure that I don't get hands that are too small for this kind of figure. So I'll be working on that a little bit and developing it. Again, here's my die cut double blade, my double cut carbide tip. Bye, ciao for now, and happy carving. Direct carver. I'm not working from a model that's already had all this figured out, so I'm doing it now. Hi, this is Kelly Borsheim with Borsheimarts.com, and in developing this hand, what I first decided to do was to work on the big finger here. We call that the bird finger. It's not very nice, is it? But I'm going to develop this because this is touching his arm, and this is the finger that's going to go on top. So once I get the dimension of this finger to where I'm happy with the length and the width of the finger, then I can figure out how to tuck this finger in behind it. Because again, I talked about how, do you see how the finger curves in towards the rest of the hand, in the direction of the hand? Also, the pinky finger curves toward the inside of the hand. So it will be a simpler thing to curve this in and also tuck it behind this finger, because it doesn't look like otherwise I have enough space for two fingers, but I do, and I want to make the hand differently because artistically it's more interesting that way. And as I go, I'm going to be rounding the curves of the thumb here and getting more space in. Also, the thumb is not going to be that fat, but I wanted to know how much higher I was going to put it. If you look from different angles, you can see I've actually got the thumb separate from the hand. That's important. So also, as I'm developing where this finger lies, I'm feeling my way here, because I can see that it is... I can, with the touch of my hand, I can feel a lot more of what's going on with form, a lot of times more than I can with my eye. However, a lot of artists prefer also to use the sun. My umbrella's in the way. But you see how the sun, you can see that the angles are quite exaggerated and gross. They're not refined and curving around. The sun also helps me, but I tend to use my fingers to feel my way through more than else. Especially if it's not convenient to have the sun. But so that's how I'm going to develop this. Once I get these two fingers developed, relate this to that one, and relate that to this one, I'm probably going to put a hole in there because I love how light falls between things. It never makes the carving easier for me, but do you see how dark that shape is in there? Because I've started to carve up into here. And I like those changes in light. To me, that makes the piece much more interesting to look at. So that's how it's going to develop. And then once I get this finished, or almost finished, then I'll come back here and start looking at the measurement of this finger to match these, or at least be in the same ballpark. So that's how it's going to go. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing. This is Kelly Borsheim at BorsheimartsArts.com. Borsheimarts.com. Thank you. Hello, this is Kelly again with Borsheimarts.com. I'm here with my sculpture Helping Hands, and again developing the hands. Right now I'm working on the hands of the woman. So there are a lot of things that are going on in my brain as I'm carving, and even when I go to clean. Right now I'm watching where the dust has fallen, because it really shows up the form a lot. And even though I'm not using the sunshine, I can see that this finger, there's a little bit of uncleanliness there, meaning I don't have a nice soft line. Because the thing is, once I polish this rock, when you touch it, I want you to have different experiences of the shape. But like for example, on the hair, I'm going to leave the hair rough. The headband has its own texture, but the face and everything else, I want it to be a smooth experience. So right now I can see going into here, do you see that little jiggy-jaggy? That has nothing to do with the finger, and it's not going to give a good experience. And the other thing is, you can see I'm starting to develop that the pinky finger, I want to go down into his flesh to give a little interaction between the two figures. Because obviously, as I change the pose from an abstract ballerina dancer's her sliding in between his legs and him about to swing her up, she's not reaching for his arms. So that changed the whole dynamic. And when that happened, the idea changed, and that was fine, but I still want this idea of her fingers pushing into him. There is a connection there, and it's also a lovely thing to have two things meet in stone carving. It's also one of the most difficult things to do because it's very easy to have, as I did on this other hand, you want something to touch and then you realize, well, that either makes this too long or that too fat, or one overlaps into the other, and that's not going to work either. So it's always a challenge to have two things touch in stone carving, and right now that's what I'm working on. But again, I'm trying to think of the softness of her hand and then going into the fingers here. So I still have some work to do with shaping it, but I like how they're kind of shaping up. Do you see? This is why you need to not push a tool to go, let the tool do the work and not push it to go too far, because I ended up breaking my lovely, really long double cut carbide tip blade here. So anyway, it's still good. I can still take this end here and stick it into the machine and get it going again, but it broke, you see the length of the collet. It just twisted off because I was probably forcing it to do something instead of allowing it to cut. Oh, nice. Ciao for now. Do you see how the late afternoon sun is coming in now, and I can really see the curve of her face, the profile of his a little bit, as the light is coming into the inside of the hand there. And now I'm working, after having broken my other tool bit, I'm actually working with this now. This is a diamond crusted triangular shaped ledge. I like things that are straight because I feel like I can make any shape with them. So versus a curved thing, you only end up using the outside part of the, or one point of the curve to make a straight line if that's what you're wanting, or you dig in and make an indent or concave. So let's see if the video will focus on this. Yeah, let's put the meter there. So, oh wow, little batch of sun there, do you see? So I took a diamond wheel and cut into that to give me a little crease in a fold. And now I'm going to try to start shaping this thumb. I want the thumb to be a little bit narrower than it is. And you can start to see how, and I want to get some rock and roll in there, some of that nice curvy stuff going on. So that's what I'm working on. Thanks, BorsheimarTs.com. This is Kelly Borsheim. Ciao, ciao for now. Now that I'm really starting to have some fun here, hi, this is Kelly Borsheim at BorsheimarTs.com. Let's talk some anatomy. So one of the fun things to do when you know about anatomy is to manipulate it in a way that shows more emotion, whether or not it's something that the body would actually do. And what I'm referring to right now is this thumb. Rodin has a piece in which the thumb actually bends in a way that wouldn't actually happen unless maybe you were disjointed or double jointed or something unusual. And of course each of us have different body parts and different abilities. But I looked at this hand, and one of the things I like, the fingers I've got very straight here. She's reaching out to just interact. Anyway, I want this thumb to kind of bend up. Do you see a curve I've sort of put into this? Boy, I'm getting really a lot of crazy lighting here. Anyway, I want to put a little backwards bend into it, as though like this. Do you see my thumb here? Maybe that's easier to see. I can actually show more emotion there when the thumb is going off. Rodin does have the lovers where the man's hand is touching her thigh and his thumb is going up, and it makes him look more excited than relaxed, and I think that's a really cool thing that happened in that piece. I don't know if it's intentional. I would assume it is, but anyway, there are things that subliminally reach out to us and make us feel, which is way more important than reality. Okay, so here's a critique. I feel like I got so much curvature in this part of the thumb here that it doesn't really match the straightness of the fingers. So I feel like it's too much rock and roll for all this architecture that's going on here. Too much curve, romance with the architecture. I don't like how it blends, and I don't like... This hand seems natural in its curves and its straights together, and this one is a little bit too much. It's very straight here, and it's very curvy. So I think what I'm going to do is make this curve a much more subtle one, not so much in here. I'm going to have to think about this one for a bit and figure out what I really want to do. I don't see a way for me to get a lot more curves into the hand itself here. So, do you see what I mean? It's not terrible. It's just that... I don't know. I kind of want a different emotion on this hand than I do that one, but I want the hand to fit with itself. And to be communicating, I also need to go in and create a wrist actually here because it's a little bit nebulous. Not that that's a bad thing. Hi, this is Kelly Borsheim. I'm at a point now where I'm about to make a decision, and I hope it's not a stupid one. I don't need to make this decision right now, but there's a certain point at my brain where I feel like it's the thing that's stopping me from developing what else I want to do. Right now I'm speaking about this little crease right here that I put between the bird finger and the index finger, okay, or not the index, the ring finger. And I don't know if you can see it here in this well. So the thing is, I can feel from the back side of this here, that's actually a lot of material I need to cut through. And I need to do it at an angle where I don't cut through his forearm, and also that I don't give up too much material for these two fingers, because they've got to be believable from a variety of angles. So it's a risky adventure, but I also know my brain, having done this a lot of times, is when you start to make an undercut, you've got to decide, do I want to make it just a thin undercut, make it dark, meaning the light doesn't enter so much, so that I get a dark. It gives a separation between things, as though here I could do a dark. If I did a very, very thin line, the light doesn't get in, it makes a dark, and it separates this hand from the forearm. That might be a good thing. In this case, though, I really want the light to come through the same way I like the light coming through both of these places. Ooh, look at that, it's on key. So, yeah, I find that that's a quality of my work that fascinates me and makes me want to keep doing it. So I know I'm going to put that in as a whole all the way through. The inside obviously is less important if I screw up. So the thing is, I'll start working on the outside, and I'll keep going in, going at an angle that I think misses his forearm and yet doesn't cut off the fingers. And once I get that hole through there, or as I like to do the Jim Morrison song, break on through to the other side. Anyway, it's a side thing. So I'll keep on digging through little by little by little, and once I see the light, all of a sudden I think my brain is going to push through and have more answers for doing this. Of course, it's a bit of a risky thing, because if I do this before I've done the face, there's a good chance that while I'm working on refining the face here, that I could actually break off these two fingers, and that's not good. However, I've got the strength of the circle, meaning that this piece of stone touches this piece of stone and it goes around like this. If this finger were loose, as I had cut with the other ones over here, then I would have even a riskier venture of losing these two fingers. But you get the strength of the circle means it kisses, and that little kiss right at the point here gives you the whole strength. So I'm counting on that, and let's just see where this goes. I would hate to screw up at this point in the game, seriously. But, you know, that's the challenge of every direct carver.